Hello?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to some more Pathfinder. Hello, everybody, and welcome to some
Primer.
more
We're just going
Pathfinder.
through more of this RPG Monday talks.
Yeah. Just make sure.
And today we're continuing on how basically to play the game.
Yeah.
I'll let Goldheart start the reading, I guess.
Yeah. Just
Since I miss since we are
hang on.
starting this after a while of
There we go.
hiatus.
Yeah. Happy anniversary to me for being a failure today. Happy anniversary, everybody.
Nice.
Been doing this a year. Good job. Good job. All right. Yeah. So, playing the game. In a Pathfinder game, three modes of play determine the pace of each scene in the story. Most of the character's time is spent in exploration, uncovering mysteries, solving problems, and interacting with other characters. The Age of Lost Omens abound abounds abounds
With danger.
with danger. Um,
H
However,
However,
oh, are you going to read it? Do you want to read it? You can read it.
no, I just wanted to help you get back on track.
That's all right. You can read it. Go ahead.
However, and characters often find themselves in an encounter, fighting savage beasts and terrifying monsters. Finally, time moves quickly when the characters enjoy downtime. Downtime, a respite from the world's troubles and a chance to rest and train for future expeditions. Throughout the adventure, gameplay moves between these three modes many times as needed for the story. The more you play the game, the more you'll see that each mode has its own playstyle. But moving from mode to mode has a few hard boundaries. During the game, your character will face situations where the outcome is uncertain. A character might need to climb a sheer cliff, track down a wounded chimera, or sneak past a sleeping dragon. All of these are which dangerous tasks with a price for failure. In such cases, the active character or characters will be asked to attempt a check to determine whether or not they succeed. A check is usually made by rolling a single-handed 20-sided die at d20 and a number based on the relevant ability. In such cases, rolling high is always good. Once a check is rolled, the GM compares the result to a target number called by the difficulty class. DC determines the outcome. If the result of the check is equal or greater than the DC, the check is successful. If it is less, the check is a failure. Being DC by 10 or more is referred as a critical success, what usually grants an extra outcome, positive outcome. Similarly, a failure check by 10 or more is a critical failure, sometimes called a fumble. Sometimes that, sometimes, yeah, sometimes results in additional negative effects. You can also often score a critical success by rolling a d20 on a die while attempting a check before adding anything. Likewise, rolling a 1 on a die when attempting a check often results in a critical failure. Note that not all checks have the special effects on the critical success or critical failure. Instead, results should be treated like an ordinary success or failure instead. For example, in pursuit of a wounded chimera, the character might find a path blocked by a fast-moving river. You decide to swim across, but the DM declares this dangerous task and asks you to roll an athletics skill check. Since swimming is covered by athletic skills. On your character sheet, you can see the character has a +8 modifier for such checks. Rolling on a d20, you get an 18 for a total of 26. The GM compares this to DC, which is 16, and find you got a critical success since the roll exceeded the DC by 10. Your character swims across the river and continues the pursuit, drenched but unharmed. Have you gotten a result less than 26 but equal or greater than 16, your character would have made it halfway across the river. Had your result been less than 16, your character might have swept down river or worse, been pulled in the current and began to drown. Checks like this are the heart of the game and are rolled all the time. is even in every mode of play to determine the outcome of tasks. When rolling a dice is critical, the statistics you add to roll, called a modifier, often make between the difference between success and failure. Every character is made up and made statistics covering what character is good at, each consisting of a relevant ability modifier plus a proficiency bonus, and sometimes modified further by other factors, such as bonuses or penalties from gear, spells, feats, magic items, and other special circumstances. Proficiency is a simple way of addressing your character's general level and training and aptitude for a given task. It is broken into 5 different ranks: untrained, trained, expert, mastered, and legendary. Each rank grants you a different proficiency bonus. If untrained as statistics, your proficiency bonus is +0. You must rely solely on your raw potential of your ability modifier. If your proficiency rank for statistics is trained, expert, master, or legendary, your bonus equals your character level plus another number based on the rank. 2, 6, 4, 6, 8, respectively. Proficiency ranks are part of almost every statistic in the game. Did that make any sense?
Yeah, but you sounded like you were getting bored.
Sorry, my throat's a little sore.
It's alright. It's alright.
I was more worried, like, would this make sense for a newer beginner?
Well, also, it's why I was reading it nice and slow and making sure people heard what I was saying. But
I don't know how to do that. I can only read fast. I've never learned how to write slow.
I know you were reading it super fast and you sounded bored. So
I don't know how to read any other way.
no,
Sorry.
it's okay. I mean, thanks for reading it to us, but yeah.
Maybe it's because I have know all these rules already. Exploration. I said that wrong. Exploration. Most of the time, your character will explore the world, interact with characters, and travel from place to place to overcome challenges. This is called exploration. I'm pronouncing that right. Gameplay is relatively free-form during exploration, with players responding to a narrative whether they have an idea of what to do, leaving a town via horseback, following the trail of a wandering orc tribe, avoiding tribe scouts, and convincing a local hunter to help ongoing fight, and all examples of things that might occur during exploration. Throughout the mode of play, the DM asks the players what their characters are doing as they explore. This is an important in case conflict arises. If combat breaks out, the task the PCs undertook while exploring might give them an edge, or otherwise inform them how the combat begins. Did I sound better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, you're reading it, so it's fine.
Yep.
Yeah, no worries.
Now for the long stuff.
It might just
Dan?
it might just be because you know what you know this the rules already, so it's just reading stuff that you already know. So it might be that.
That's what I think it is.
You're just
I
like,
know.
I
read through
know
all
it
this
is.
already.
Yeah, exactly.
Encounters. In the course of your adventure, there'll be times when your simple skill check is not enough to resolve a challenge. When fiercest monsters stand in your character's way, and the only choice is to do battle. In Pathfinder, this is called an encounter. Encounters usually involve combat, time to fight. But they can also be used in situations when timing critical, such as during a chase or when dodging hazards. Oh gosh, do I have to go in chase rules? That one's complicated. Okay, not yet. While the exploring is handled a free-form manner, encounters are more structured. The players and GM roll initiative to determine who acts in that order. A counter occurs over a number of rounds, each which is equal to 6 seconds of time in the world of the game. During a round, each player take a turn. When it's your turn to act, you can use up to 3 actions. This is where it differs from D&D. You have 3 actions instead of just 1 action and a bonus action.
Yeah.
Most are simple things, such as drawing a weapon, moving a short distance, opening a door, or swinging a sword. Use a single action to perform. There are also activities that use more than a single action to perform. These are also special abilities from your characters.
Yeah. So
Pass and feats.
just explain to me like I know D&D, but I don't know Pathfinder. So what's different about this?
One community. Let me just finish this
Yeah,
sentence. One
finish the
community
thing
action
and
in the
then
game is casting a spell, which usually takes 2 actions. So
yeah.
Pathfinder, basically, here's some of the differences.
Okay.
To move, it costs an action. To pull your sword after you start a combat
Okay.
is an action.
Makes sense.
Attacking,
Literally anything is an action. And you have
yes,
three of
except
them.
something.
And you have 3 of them, and you can use them in any order how to do any of the actions.
Except for
But
like
with
attacking multiple times.
yeah, but with Dungeons and Dragons, it's literally just one fixed to movement, one fixed to combat type thing. Okay, cool. All right.
And there's some other like complicated things for this. Like attacking multiple times with multiple actions actually gets a negative bonus onto yourself, so you can't attack 3 times in a row.
Yeah, well, it's right here. Look. So free action. What's that?
3 actions. This is dropping an action. Don't count towards your 3 actions, and you can take after turn. Finally, each character can use up to 1 reaction during the round. This one special action can be used even when it's not your turn, but only in response to certain events. Only you have the ability to allow it. Rogues, for example, can select a feat to let them use their reaction to dodge an incoming attack.
Nice. That makes sense.
So actually, most of the reaction abilities are either from your certain class,
yeah,
or feat. So hitting your enemy when it runs away from you is actually not a free reaction in this game.
yeah,
You don't have to disengage or anything. No, you can just run. If they don't have that reaction as what's stated in their thing, they can't do that.
yeah. Okay.
Some things cost more than 1 action, like certain attacks.
So exactly. So it's literally, think of it like in a video game. You have like pips of your actions. Some take all of them. Some take less. Da 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 da. That makes sense. Yeah. Cool.
Yep.
All right. So yeah, keep going.
Okay. The attacking another creature is one of the most common actions in combat. It's done using by the strike action. This requires an attack roll and a kind of check to made against the armor class, AC, of the creature you're attacking. Strikes can be made using weapons, spells, or even parts of your creature's body, like a fist, claw, or tail. You add your modifier to this roll based on your proficiency rank with the type of attack you're using, your ability scores, and any other bonuses or penalties based on your situation. The target's AC is calculated using the proficiency rank in the armor they're wearing and their dexterity modifier. An attack deals damage if it hits, and rolling critical success results in dealing double damage. Note this is not a natural 20 like in D&D. This is if it's over 10 to hit. That's how critical success work in Pathfinder.
Oh, we just went through that. So
Yeah, I know. I just wanted to make sure everyone remembers that.
yeah, critical success is 10 above the DC.
Yep.
10 below is critical failure.
You can also use more than one strike action your turn, but additional action in the first becomes less accurate. This is reflected by a multiple attack penalty. It starts at -5 on the second attack, but increases to -10 on the third. There are many ways to reduce the penalty, and it resets on the end of your turn.
Yeah.
So I'll let you know on this. Like the fighter, you can have more than one action, like attack per action, basically.
Yeah.
Eventually, or some classes can get that.
Yeah.
So you can multi-attack technically with multiple attacks. It just can't be more than one action. If you use an action for another attack after you already used an action for the same strike attack,
Yeah.
that's when the penalty is applied.
I see. All right. That makes sense. I'm looking forward to playing my first Pathfinder game because, yeah, it's only when you actually start playing that it makes more sense. But yeah, I mean, yeah. Cool.
Okay. If your character finds himself to target a magical lightning bolt or the freezing breath of a fearsome white dragon, you'll be called on an attempted saving throw, representing your character's ability to avoid damage, otherwise withstand an assault to their mind or body. A saving throw is a check attempted against the DC of the spell or special ability targeting your character. There are 3 types of saving throws. A character's proficiency each says a great deal about what they can endure. A fortitude saving throw is used when a character's health or vitality is an attack, such as poison, disease, or a reflex saving throw is called for when a character must dodge away from danger, usually something that affects a large area, such as a scorching blast of a fireball spell. So literally just throw an explosion at someone and see how well you can dodge it.
Yeah.
Finally, a will saving throw is often used your defense against spells and effects that target the character's mind. This is a charm or confusion spell. For all saving throws, a success lessens the harmful effect, and a scoring a critical success usually means your character escapes unscathed.
Yeah. Critical success. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So literally, fortitude is your body. Reflexes is your dexterity, how you use your body,
how fast you can react,
reactions. That's it. Well, it's reflex. This is exactly what it says. And then will is more like your mind and that. Cool. All right. That's cool. Makes sense.
And next, attack spells and special abilities frequently either deal damage to a character or impose one or more conditions, and sometimes both. Damage is subtracted from a creature's hit points, HP, and a measure of health. When a character is reduced to 0 hit points, it falls unconscious and may die. In combat, character typically lasts until one side has been defeated, and while this can retreat or surrender, it often happens because one side is dead or dying. Conditions can hinder the creature for a time, limiting the actions they can use and applying penalties for a future check. Some conditions are even permanent, requiring a character to seek out powerful magic to undo their effects.
Yeah. That makes sense. Cool. Cool. Alright, downtime.
Yep. Characters don't spend every waking moment adventuring. Instead, they recover from their wounds, plan future conquests, or pursue a trade. In Pathfinder, this is called downtime.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, because you don't really get to do that in D&D, do you? So,
yeah. This one has, written rules. They're very complicated. That's why they've been trying to be fixed in the newest book. which I suggest you buying.
Yeah. Cool.
This is called downtime, and it allows them to pass quickly while characters can work towards long-term tasks or objectives. Most characters can practice a trade in downtime, earning a few coins, but those adventurers can spend the time crafting, creating new gear, or even magical items. Characters also can use a downtime to retrain, replacing one character's choice of another to reflect evolving priorities. They also might research a problem, learn new spells, or even run a business or kingdom. So I might have to talk about retrain real quick.
Okay.
Retrain is basically when you're training the skill, sometimes you can retrain and take that skill which you're trained in, untrain in it, and choose a different skill to train in.
Cool. Makes sense. And that also puts less pressure on what to pick at the start, so then you can train in stuff that's useful for the campaign. It's good.
Yeah, but it's only at downtime. So when you choose, it takes it takes a lot of work, like you said, of crafting or researching a problem or learning new spells.
Yeah, no, it's cool. It adds to the story, which is ultimately what we're doing. So that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And let me continue. What else is going on? There are a number of important terms that you need to know as you create your first character or adventure. Some of the most important terms you mentioned in the previous section are also included here for reference. So this is just about ability scores. Like all the 6 ability scores: strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. They represent the character's raw potential and abilities. The higher the score, the greater a creature's potential in that area. Ability scores are basically described better later in the chapter. Alignment. a basic outline of your future's morals and ethical attitude. It
Yeah.
can be changed. Alignment's always been a little bit iffy in every game, especially with players. They break the alignment rules all the time.
I
You'll know that.
suppose it is like any game that you're running of D&D or probably Pathfinder, or if it's up to you how strict you want to be with stuff. But yeah, cool. All right, cool. So that's downtime.
This
So they get to do.
No, not quite.
Oh, keep going.
Ancestry. Ancestry determines a character's starting hit points, languages, senses, and speed. It grants access to ancestry feats.
Oh,
And,
you've gone. Oh, okay, so you've gone through key terms. So that's what I'm saying. So
yeah,
okay, so
yeah.
that's downtime. Key terms. I need to put that in the bookmarks.
Yep.
Yeah. So we're in downtime. We're in key terms now. Okay, so back to ability scores. Read from there, if you can, please.
Ability scores. Each creature has 6 ability scores: strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma.
Yeah.
These scores represent a character's raw potential and basic attributes. The higher the score, the greater the creature's potential and ability. Ability scores are described further in this chapter. That simple alignment supposed to represent the creature's fundamental moral and ethical attitudes. D&D characters have known to break that, and so have Pathfinders. It is the same in both systems. People break it all the time.
Yes, but again, it's up to what story you're telling. Yeah, and who's running it, and yeah. So some people want you to keep track of how many arrows you have, and others don't. So yeah, it depends on what type of game that you want to run, really. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool. So
Ancestry.
yeah. So key terms. I just wanted to put. Okay, so ability scores you just read. That's where we got to. Boop.
I read alignment next, and then
Okay, so alignment then.
I already read alignment.
Alignment represents a creature's fundamental moral and ethical attitude. Yes. Cool. We're on ancestry now.
Yeah, I just read it. Ancestry is a broad family of people that a character belongs to. So ancestry determines a character's starting hit points, languages, senses, and speed.
Yeah.
Grant access to ancestry feats. Ancestries can be found in Chapter 2. So this basically means helps you decide what your character is going to be. Ancestry feats are like abilities your character will gain from being that certain race.
Exactly. Cool.
Yep.
Your bloodline,
And it could be,
yeah.
yeah, it could determine everything about your character, or your class can. It depends on how you're running your character.
Exactly. Cool.
Armor class, AC. The game, all creatures in the game have armor class. Your score represents how hard it is to hit and damage a creature. It serves as a difficulty class for hitting a creature with an attack.
Armor class, yes.
Oh,
yeah.
Yep. Now, I'm gonna warn you. Pathfinder is a lot different than D&D. There are some things in armor classes in the 35s.
Yeah.
The numbers are a lot bigger.
That makes sense.
Well, the higher level.
It makes sense with how different the game is, yeah. Because it's like, yeah. Okay, cool.
Attack. When a creature tries to harm another creature, it makes a strike or uses some other action. Most attacks are strikes made with a weapon, but the character might strike with their fists, grapple, or shove with their hands, or attack with a spell.
Yeah.
That's simple enough.
Yeah. Right, background.
A background represents what a character experienced before they took the life of his adventurer. Each background grants a feat and training in one or more skills.
Cool.
You can read more backgrounds in Chapter 2.
Which we will
Feats,
do when we get there. So, yeah.
Yep. Bonus and penalties. Bonus and penalties apply certain checks and certain statistics. These are several types of bonuses and penalties. If you have more than one bonus of the same type, you can use only the highest bonus. Likewise, you'll only use the worst penalty of each type.
Yeah. Cool.
Class.
Yeah.
A class represents the adventuring proficiency chosen by character. A character's class determines the most of the proficiencies, grants the character's hit points each time they gain a new level, and grants access to a set of class feats.
Yeah, which we'll go over in chapter 3. Cool.
Yep.
Right, condition.
An ongoing effect that changes how a character can act or alters some of their statistics. It's called the condition. The rules for basic conditions used in this game can be found in the conditions appendix at the back of the book.
Cool.
There is a lot of conditions in this game. You will not have to
imagine.
memorize all of it. You will have to look at a guide.
I can imagine it's good to have a look because literally lots of different things can happen in the game, and then it's like, okay, so you've just been blinded, yeah, and then you go look what that means, and then refresh everyone's memory of what that means anyway.
Yeah.
So that's a good way of doing it anyway, rather than memorizing it all the conditions.
You shouldn't memorize all the conditions.
No,
There's over 37 of them.
You just look it up. And it's good to get to show everyone where you're finding it from as well, so you're literally all on the same page. Currency, yeah.
Most currency game are gold pieces, silver pieces, and 1 gold piece equals worth 10 silver pieces. In addition, 1 silver piece is worth 10 copper pieces, and 10 gold pieces are worth 1 platinum piece.
Yeah.
Characters begin with 15 gold pieces or 150 silver pieces to spend on their equipment.
Yeah. Nice.
Feet.
That's good to remember. So there's 150 silver pieces or 15 gold pieces. That's good to remember. That's cool.
It's good to remember your conversion rates.
Yeah.
Unless you're playing a different type of game where every country has a different conversion rate for money.
So obviously these are the standard rules before the GM, Games Master, adapts it to their own game. So this is the core rules. So yeah. Anyway, keep going. So come on.
It's an ability you can select for your character due to their ancestry, background, class, and general training, or skill training. Some feats grant the ability to use special actions.
Cool. Like hitting someone when they're trying to get away from you, or dodging when it's, like the rogue feat it said earlier about, dodging on when it's not your turn. So yeah, this is what a feat is. Cool. Next, Game
Master. The Game Master is the player who adjusts the rules and narratives of the various elements of the Pathfinder story and the world that the other players explore.
Nice. Ooh, that's cool.
Golarion is the Pathfinder setting, basically. Set in the planet.
Golarion.
I think. During the Age of Lost Omens.
No, so it's Golarion. Golarion?
Maybe.
Don't know.
It's an ancient world with a rich, diverse of people and cultures, exciting location to explore, and deadly villains. More information on the Age of Lost Omens, the world of whatever this thing is pronounced, and its deities can be found in Chapter 8, which we'll be going over. But yes, if you have any questions?
I'm just going to pop this in the chat. It's good to know. So the planet is Golarion during the Age of Lost Omens. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Cool beans. We'll get to it in Chapter 8 anyway, but that's good to know. Good to know. Brilliant.
Hit points represent the amount of punishment a creature can take before it falls unconscious. Before dying, damage decreases hit points on a 1-to-1 basis, while healing restores hit points at the same rate.
Nice. I mean, that's fairly standard, but cool.
Initiative. This one's different. At the starting of this, all creatures involve rolls for initiative, determine the role which they act. I represent the role the creature gets sacked. Initiative and combat are described in Chapter 9.
Nice.
Can I say something about initiative in this game?
If you want to. Yeah.
Initiative is not determined just by one stat. It can be changed to multiple different stats as long as it makes sense.
All right. Well, we'll get there in Chapter 9, so that's fine.
Yep.
Level.
Right. A level is A level is a number of that measures someone's overall power. Player characters have a level, ranging from 1 to 20, representing their character's level experience. Monsters, NPCs, hazards, diseases, and poisons have levels ranging from -1 to 30 that measures their danger they pose. An item's level usually within the range of 0 to 20, but sometimes higher indicates the power and accessibility as treasure. Spell has the level ranges from 1 to 10, which measures their power. Characters and monsters can usually cast only a certain number of spells of any given level.
Cool. Cool.
There's a lot of things. We're almost done.
Non-player character.
A non-player character controlled by the GM interacts with players and helps advance the story. NPCs. Perception measures your character's ability to notice hidden objects or unusual situations, and it can usually determine how quickly the character springs into action in combat. It is described in full in Chapter 9.
Cool.
Player character's PC. This is a character created and controlled by the players. Proficiency. Proficiency is a system that measures the character's aptitude at a specific task or quality. It has 5 ranks: untrained, trained, expert, master, and legendary.
Nice.
Proficiency giving you bonus attacks add determine the following modifiers and statistics: AC, attack rolls, perception, saving throws, skills, and effectiveness of spells. If you're untrained, your proficiency bonus is 0. If you're trained, expert, master, legendary, your proficiency equals to your level. +2, 4, 6, or 8, respectively.
Yeah. That's cool.
Rarity. Some elements of the game have a rarity denote of how often they encounter in the game world. Rarely primarily applies to equipment and magic items. The spells, feats, and other rules also have a rarity.
Yeah. Cool.
So some spells are rarer than others. If no rarity appears in the trait, item, spell, or other game elements, it is of common rarity. Uncommon items are available to those who only have special training, grew up in a certain culture, or come from a particular part of the world. Rare items are almost impossible to find and usually only given out by the GM, while unique items are only one of the kind in the game. The GM might alter the way rarity works or change the rarity of the individual items to suit the story they want to tell.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Role-playing. Describing the character's actions, often while acting from the perspective of the character, is called role-playing. When a player speaks or describes actions from the perspective of the character, they are in character.
Yeah.
A round is a period of time during an encounter in which all participants get the chance to act. A round represents approximately 6 seconds in game time.
Yeah.
Saving throw, save. When a creature is subject to a dangerous effect that must be avoided and attempts a saving throw to mitigate the effects. You attempt the saving throw automatically. You don't have to use an action or reaction, unlike for most checks, and the character who is in acting roll for the d20s or for a saving throw. And the creature who is acting provides the DC. There are 3 types of saving throws: Fortitude, Reflect, and Will. I think we've already gone through this.
What's that?
Saving throws.
Well, we went through the different ones, but I mean, it tells you exactly what it means. So yeah, diseases, and poisons, or ability to dodge, will, resist, mind, and personality. So there you go. Pretty much what we said, like I said. Yeah. So skill.
Yeah. A skill represents a character's ability to perform certain tasks that require instruction or practice. Skills are often fully described in Chapter 4. Each skill includes ways that anyone can use the skill, even if it's untrained, as well as uses that requires a character to be trained in that skill.
Nice. Which, again, it says Chapter 4, so that's cool. Speed.
Speed is the distance a character can move using a single action measured in feet.
Makes sense. Spell.
Spell.
Yeah.
Spells are magical effects created by performing a mythical incarnation and generate gestures known only as those who with special training And inborn abilities. Casting a spell is an activity that usually uses 2 actions. Each spell specifies what it targets, the action needed to cast it, its effects, and how it can be restricted. If a class grants spells, the basic ability are provided in the class description in Chapter 3, while spells themselves are just healed in Chapter 7.
Yeah. Cool. Spells. Trait.
A trait is a keyword that contains additional information about the rules element. Such as a school of magic, rarity, are often a trait indicates how other rules interact with the ability, creature, or item, or another rule element that has the trait. All traits in the source appear in glossary and index of the core rulebook.
Okay, so again, but slower.
A trait is
There
a
you go.
keyword that conveys additional information about a rules element, such as a school of magic or rarity. Often a trait indicates how the other rules interact with the ability.
Yeah.
Creature, item, or another rule element that has the trait. All the traits used in the source appear in the glossary and index of the core rulebook.
Yeah. So additional rules onto the things. Cool.
Yep.
So if something's slippery or poisonous, that's what a trait is. There you go.
Turn.
Turn.
During the course round, each creature takes a single turn according to initiative. A creature can usually act 3 actions during the turn.
Brilliant. I think we'll wrap up there for this. And
unless you want to.
No. We'll wrap up there for this talk, and then we'll do example of play next talk. Okay.
Okay.
So that's where we've got to Chapter 4, example of play. Okay. Thanks everybody for watching. Thank you, Hans, for reading, and we'll catch you all next time. So see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.